Okay. That a few things off stream, not that much. Well, not so that it is not so that you cannot follow it anymore if you watch the previous stream, as maybe one person did. I added what is the WM class to my window, so it can now automatically be positioned. So it's positioned here, centered, because I have now a class that it can remember it by. It's not important really. And I did several commits, so that now I have a pretty clean state. The only diff that I have is this. It's almost nothing. So lots has been committed. And I just enabled compiling uniform buffers again, because all that change that I just committed has not been applied to uniform buffers test yet, and I should do that too. So after enabling this, that indeed fails to compile. Yeah. This is a nice type, isn't it? Well, most of it is a string. This is just a string. These are characters. Let's see. Now, this in itself is kind of weird. I don't see a good reason why it would fail. Because you could ask what is the value of this offset. That would be the offset that it should be. Unfortunately, it does not show the declaration type. But maybe you can guess. It probably is embedded in this information here. Oh, there's offsets here. Definitely. Yeah, that is the type. So this is talking about standard member layout, top position. That is a specialization, if you ask me. And then information about it till somewhere here, and now we get the offset of that. What would that be? Well, the basic type doesn't contain an offset. This maybe. Or belongs to member layout. That could be. Let me have a look at the member layout. Why the hell does it say STD member layout? That's nonsense. That doesn't even exist, if you ask me. Yeah, memo layout has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 template parameters, and the second last is the offset. That is, it is followed by the string, which is this thing here. So the offset is probably 32. Let's have a look if that makes sense at all. We're talking about the second element of top position. In here. So this thing. And that should be the size of this thing plus, well, rounded up till the alignment of that thing. Using the standard 140. I'm going to assume that is correct. So the problem here is simply that in C++ we do not end up at 32. Well, that should be the case. I guess that C++ thinks that a matrix of 2 by 2 is just 4 floats, so 4 times 4 is 16 instead of 32. So I'm just going to add a padding here of size 16. I don't really care how. Well, let's use floats. Float padding. Yep, that fixed the assert. Now, one of the things that I did was remove the descriptor set parameter struct. So obviously that doesn't exist yet. It doesn't exist anymore. Worse, however, I moved stuff from the window class, and this is the window class, to pipeline characteristic. Let's find that, if that exists here somewhere. Pipeline character something. Uniform tests, but why is that called base? Because I have more of them. Okay. Well, that's just because of the 1 and the 2 difference. So in the end, they're going to call initialize x. And that's where I need to move stuff. Stuff being the same-ish as what I did in the other test application. Maybe you should have a look there. And then just compare things. I think that's a good idea. So I have already made changes in this code here. And I'm going to do the same thing in that file. Comparing them. And yeah, I meant VI. So also here we have probably a pipeline characteristic thing. There we are. And that contains now this declaration, 3YY. just in front of initialize, and yeah, it does say it doesn't belong here, but probably better to keep up anyway in the other application with these changes. So I'm going to put that here, and let's give them a sensible name. I'm gonna call this top, and this also. And then we did have in this file descriptor set. There they are. So I do not want to have this anymore. And instead put that here. But like I said, I do not have descriptor set parameters anymore, so this is now going to be the same as this twice, right? So I have a layout and just a set, and then this one we call layout, and then the same here. The layout and the sets for the bottom thingy. Layouts. So instead of a structure three things, I now just use two things, and the third has been moved into another object. And this one comes from window and has been moved here. So far so good. More changes. This initialize then, I think it needed this window here. See where I was using that. This is getting access to the descriptor set. That's annoying, but completely true. Oh, I have a temporarily the descriptor set, probably this one, and I assign it here. That means that I would not even be using the one that I declared here anymore. This one. If I comment this out, does it still compile? Let's not try to compile this then. Oops, yeah, see, so that's not used. Likewise, those do not exist. I only have the layouts in this pipeline characteristics thingy. But the descriptors themselves are needed while drawing. So they just needed the whole application long, and they are still stored in the window, even though I do not really want them there. So let's find my window class back. I would like to add them at the same place as I just removed yeah, the whole struct. What was it? The descriptor set parameters struct. Gonna put it here in case I lose it. And then let's have a look at git diff. Where did I remove that thing? What? Yeah, there. So this is right in front of this thing here. Create textures in uniform buffers window.h. So we go here again. Next, search for that string. That's where I wanted to be. Class window. So we copy this and then paste it here. So that's in the same place. I think this one has an M descriptor set somewhere. Yep, here. So also in the window class here, we have a unique descriptor set. And then I want to compare the initialize, because this is old code, or well, what it was before I moved it and deleted all that stuff. And this is the new code. And I need this window pointer, or at least casting it to the real class, because I need to access those things. So let's move that up then also, because I'm pretty sure I already have that. I don't. Oh. Oh, I do. Yeah. So that was one change. Now we have a window at the top already. Next, we are adding the vectors that we're going to fill to the flat create info thingy. And then we define a pipeline that should already be what it should be. This thing is so small, or not? Oh, wait. Yeah, then we compile the shaders. So I go here again. I lost it. That was not what I wanted. Okay, shaders are compiled. It's like this one is very small. That's what I want. It's doing nothing. And then after compiling the shaders, we start to do some horrible stuff like hard-coded values. But a big difference with yesterday is that now I have this after the compilation. So while parsing the shaders here, I get information that will allow me to generate this. So I managed to move it behind the call to build shader. So all of this until the end of the function, or what was it? Not really. Okay, this is layout bindings, and then we call create a descriptor set layout. And only after we have the descriptor set layout, we can do this, because it is used. Pushing something to descriptor set layouts. I believe I already have that. Next. VHV descriptor set layouts. It's not here. I'm confused. Right, so, well, the code that I need to add here came from a also deleted function, and that function is called I don't know, but what I can do, I was in the wrong window with the small font. Excuse me. I'll switch to, well, I can switch this one to a larger font as well. That's better viewable. Yeah, let's see. So I'm switching here, and I'm just do git k, and then have a look at my last commit. Here I made a huge commit with a big comment, which more or less describes what I now have to do in this other test application. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. So this is going to be removed, and I'm going to move that. I thought I had a comment about it. Pretty sure I had a comment about it. Let me read everything. Yeah, this. So I just split it up in two. Okay, so we removed the creator descriptor set, and then moved code from that function of that test application to that test application's pipeline characteristic initialize. And now I have to do the same for not for the frame resource count, but for the uniform buffer test. So I'm looking for this function, create descriptor set. And there it is. Up till and including the creation, let's say top, because I renamed that one. In fact, this is creating descriptor set parameters, but I'm going to call something else. Yeah, it has to be changed a lot. The most important thing is that I think I am going to need all of this except the pool sizes. Just going to delete it. No pool sizes. Layout bindings. I have 3 layout bindings. Okay, so let's copy them, I guess. Let's delete them. And then move them to the initialize function. X even. And well, at the bottom, because I think that's where we were. Okay. And then I look at the previous file again. So that's this data here. And then the data is being used here by calling create descriptor set layout on a logical device, and that is put in the descriptor set layout. So I can do that. Well, let me copy this. 3yy and then next. So I get something like this, except that it is top. And yeah, top here, right? And then top here and top. Yep. So that would be using the top layout bindings here from this. And thus we need 3 of those, including the left and the right. Going back to the already working test application. Next it says define pipeline layout, and that pushes the descriptor set layout to MV something, which is something that I promised I would fill. It seems pretty required, if you ask me. Okay, the type of the thing is a vector of descriptor set layouts. So if we go to the other one again, and I have here, I don't have it. Wow. That's impossible. That would never work. Why? It did work namely, so that's really annoying. this creates a pipeline, and when you create a pipeline, you need to pass the layout of the, well, when you create a, yeah, when you create a pipeline or the pipeline layout, no, I don't know. I think the pipeline layout. Anyway, you need to pass the descriptor layout. So is it possible that we do not use this somewhere? This is just stuff that I just added. What? Okay, git diff. It is of course true that we only have that one. No, that's all nonsense. That's the other one. We had descriptor set parameters. That must be used. You cannot just make it and then not use it. So we have a descriptor set parameters declaration with that name, which is returned by the create descriptor resources. And that's it. There it is being used. Let's go to the top, search, declaration, assignment. Update of the descriptor sets. Oh, I think I finally realized what it is. I'm not using it because it's a compatible layout. So I'm using another layout to create a pipeline and then just use this one because it is compatible. I better look at where the bloody pipeline is created, if you ask me. Create pipeline. Which is commented out. What? Don't tell me I commented this out while it is still needed without adding a comment. Doesn't look very used. Anyway, this is what I was looking for. So why did I not find this string here? Oh, because I was looking for underscore layout. Bleh. The renamed version. Okay, I think that what this is saying is that before I was creating my pipeline layouts here, but I'm no longer doing that. I'm doing that from the pipeline factory. So that it is commented out is correct. But at least you would expect it to be done somewhere else. So I'm still highly confused. We have other calls. Nope. Well, the way that it normally works is okay, I don't know. I'm gonna assume that this code is so broken that I forgot how broken it was, and I'm going to fix it. Yeah, the way I think it should work, if you understand what I mean. So where I was surprised. So we were, I think, in initialize x, and then now we have only one file. Okay. This one, or rather, that thing. Dynamic states. So I have a vector here called input binding descriptions and input attribute descriptions, and then somewhere below that we have a descriptor set layout vector. Well, there's also a extremely minimal, but okay, let's just add it here. And then we have to say that we're going to add it. I want to keep the order the same, to be honest. That one is below dynamic states. Okay, let's put it below dynamic states then. Flat create info add. So now I'm telling the flat create info that I'm going to fill this vector, and then we can do that. And that's just the reference of the, I think, descriptor set layout, or unique. The unique descriptor set layout. Okay, so something like this. Extra complication, however, I want two of them. Swapping top and left. Shall I worry about that later? Because I'm already half lost. Okay, so we added that. I think that should work. And I guess we don't have this. We don't have vertex buffers because it's just a triangle with a hard-coded coordinates, except that those coordinates aren't hard-coded but read from a uniform buffer. And then the finale, descriptor sets is allocate descriptor sets. Oh boy. Okay, yeah, create the descriptor sets from the layouts and then assign them to the window variables. And then update the descriptor sets. That would be it. That code should also already exist, I suppose, in that one function. Not this, I think. Oh, I guess I might as well allocate all the descriptor sets at once. Now we have 3 descriptor sets instead of 1. And I put them in that order, so that would be like that. And then we are getting just a handle. Okay, but maybe a little bit much. And then what follows? Basically, I think that what follows is what I had in that other function, which is this one. Or not. No, not this one. This one. So we did this now in 2 steps. First we created the layout and then we allocated the descriptors themselves. What else is this doing? Uh-oh. Yeah, if it is an array, then you have to do this for each element. Or do I see that wrong? No, I'm not seeing that wrong. So your I is the element index of the array. But what the hell is it doing? Putting something in M top buffer. I'm gonna ignore it for now. Information about the buffer we want to point at in the descriptor. Well, I think this is just creating the uniform buffers, right? Which indeed is new code because I'm not using uniform buffers in the previous test. It ain't easy at all. Do I have to move this as well? What the hell is M top buffer? Yeah, this is way more difficult than I thought it would be. Maybe I should just, call back to the window class again as a hack. Just like having the descriptor sets there in the first place. In other words, I already have in my window class now the descriptor sets, these 3. So I might as well leave the other variables as well up here. So what I can do is this public scroll private. Okay, let's make it public. And then let's rename it to something, create uniform buffers, more like it. Well, that might just work. So I have to call that from initialize x, the bottom. Oh well, let's try to compile it. In the end, we're just trying to get rid of all the compile errors, so I don't know what I was doing. Error, use of undeclared identifier mWrite descriptor set layout. Did you mean left? No, I meant right. What is your problem? Well, that's interesting. Let's create ctags again, I mean. You probably heard the typo. To left bottom. It's called bottom, not right. It's always been bottom. Okay, that's a lot of them. Wait a minute. Right, and that's it. I think. Substitute m right with m bottom. Use of undeclared identifier right layout bindings. I guess I forgot one. Bottom right bottom. I'm not doing anything with these descriptors. Why? Use of undeclared identifier m descriptor set. Silently, we went over everything I just typed without any compile error. Just so you know it. Yeah, I'm just doing something. If it, normally when it compiles it works. That's my motto. But it gets definitely interesting when it doesn't. So I'm just, you know, really, I probably understand as much of it as you. And I'm just doing stuff, and then it compiles, and then you'll see it works. Always story of my life. Yeah, what it is. It just compiles. Okay. Now let's see. Does it also? Totally not. It froze my mouse. It froze my whole desktop. Are we back yet? Yeah, no, it did not work. Well, then it gets interesting, like I said. Descriptor set 0 being bound is not compatible with overlapping descriptor set layout at index 0 of mflat create info dot pipeline layout due to top descriptor set layout from pipeline layout has 2 total descriptors, but left descriptor set layout 4, which is bound, has 1 total descriptors. Oh, something tells me that's that the point where I said let's worry about that later, because I needed 2 of them and I only saw 1. Yeah, no, this is definitely not something I immediately understand. Oh, that's it. No, 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 no. Are there any YouTube is complaining about not getting enough information. Stream health poor. My stream health is poor. Why? It's nonsense. I'm at 4,640 kilobits per second. Maybe you have a bad network connection. That was 5:13. Yeah, it was a minute ago. I don't understand. Please tell me in the chat if something is wrong with the stream. Yeah. I wanted to know if that is the first validation error or not. This is the first validation error. Shader uses slot 1.1 expected combined image sampler, but not declared in pipeline layout. My pipeline layout is definitely gone wrong. Why does it tell me which shader that is? Shader, what shader? See a vertex here. And a fragment here. Man, that's a really, really bad error. That is a bad error. Why is it not saying which of the two? But okay, this is set 1 binding 1, so I can find it luckily. Source tests, uniform buffers, window.h. There it is, set 1 binding 1. Now the question is, do I have multiple of these things, or this is the only one? That's the only one. So that is a fragment shader. It's fragment shader of triangle 2, which makes us feel, of course, that triangle 1 did compile correctly. How many other shaders do we have left after this? Probably nothing. It's the last one. Right, so that goes wrong. That is the last shader in shader info. Right, so apparently my stream is poor. And nobody knows what it is or why. But might as well end the stream.